Welcome to a new edition of the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino. On this episode, we talk with the queen of the beauty industry, Shara Gabaldon. She has over 25 years of experience in the industry, and through her career, she has successfully established a six-figure beauty service business in just a few months, created an online beauty academy that generated 7 figures in 6 months, and assisted a struggling salon in boosting its revenue by 50% within 6 months. Her true passion lies in supporting individuals in the beauty industry to achieve success and thrive, and she's doing just that. Enjoy this interview.
It's great to meet you. Thank you for taking a minute out today. And I want to, before we get into your world of beauty business coaching,
yes,
you survived the last 3.5 years with the pandemic. How did you get through it? How did it change you?
I actually didn't really have, so have we started already? Sorry, I just want to know.
Yeah, I come from jazz radio, so I tend to dive right in. So
No, you're totally fine.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure, you know what I mean? Sometimes people will ask a couple questions beforehand, so I just was trying to make sure that we were on the same page.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right, go ahead. I apologize.
You're fine. So I'll just start at the top. It's great to, thank you so much for taking a minute out. It's great to meet you. And I want to begin our conversation with surviving and living through the pandemic for the last 3.5 years. How did you get through it, and how did it change you ultimately?
Thank you so much for having me. We'll start there. And, during the pandemic, I learned a few things. So I had actually started the service-based business right before the pandemic. And so, obviously, things were shutting down, and, people that I was following and people that I was like what you call like a beauty business sister type of thing, they're shutting down salons and whatnot. Meanwhile, my business was thriving. I was like, pandemic where? Right. And so the one thing that it had taught me, not only as a beauty business owner, but also as a consumer, was that women were willing to risk their lives to go get their brows and their lashes and their lips and their nails and all of that stuff done, literally. So from the business perspective, I don't want to say that COVID necessarily affected the business in that respect. However, when I kind of switched gears into the online academy and that space, I will say that it was a little different for people to like adjust, because prior to me launching the academy, they were so used to attending courses or training or some type of secondary education in person. And so it was really hard for them to wrap their mind around that concept of, okay, how am I going to learn this process, this skill, this, treatment or service online? Like, where is that, how's that going to work? And so it was a little difficult to kind of get their mind wrapped around that. And then just the way that we promote and sell our courses and supplies was a little different than the traditional, like I said. But holistically, like overall, the business has continued to thrive through the pandemic. So I am beyond grateful. The beauty industry is a multi-billion, trillion-dollar industry, and it's not going anywhere. And I am so happy to be here.
I love that answer. So let's get to the heart and soul of what you do on a daily basis. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of grade school kids, third graders. It's career day, and one of the kids looks up and asks you, what do you do for a living? How do you answer them?
So I would definitely answer that, from a third grader perspective. Excuse me. So basically, I offer cosmetologists, estheticians, people who do hair and skin and nails and things of that nature, I offer them the ability to take specialty courses so that they can expand their knowledge and their education and be able to provide even more services to their customers. And then obviously I provide them with the supports as well as the supplies and equipment. And then the last thing would be to work with them, one-on-one, helping them to build their iconic brand that they are trying to do, and then also help them achieve making that first 10K month that is very obtainable.
So when you were in the third grade, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Actually, I had the desire to be in law enforcement. So I still have a very high drive, if you will, for legal and, just anything that pertains to like law and crime, researching and, do you know what I'm saying? Like just anything that's like law. I just flippin' love it.
I get it. So let me ask you this: who's been a hero for you? Who's been kind of a inspiration or a motivator for you in your life to become who you are?
So in general, I would definitely say my parents, and I say in general because I grew up in a middle class family, neighborhood. Both of my parents were entrepreneurs, very hardworking, high achieving, all of that good stuff, right? And so I grew up around that, and thinking back, they were so young to be as successful and hardworking and diversified as they were, because they were very diversified in their efforts and things of that nature. And so that's what taught me, my work ethic and my skill set and all of that. From a beauty business standpoint, I did not and do not have like a mentor. So I pretty much paved the way. However, paving the way came from my experience in business and finance, and all of the knowledge and education that I brought to the table prior to getting in the beauty industry.
So if you could meet one person alive on the planet right now and spend some time with them, who would it be?
Ooh, that's a tough one for me. And the reason I say that is because I'm not really knowledgeable on like current events and famous people, names, and all of that. I don't watch the news or even keep up with like trending events. So I honestly can say that I really just don't know. I am eager to rub elbows with people in general that are more successful than me, that inspire me to be a better person overall, as well as like in my business or, health-wise, career-wise, as a mother and things of that nature. So anytime that I come across somebody like that, I just love to spend as much time with them as I can,
Absolutely. So what is the motivator for you every day? Every day you wake up, you get out of bed, you have these things that you want to accomplish and get done. What is the ultimate motivator for you?
I think it's two parts. So one, you have, as an entrepreneur, you have to have that self-motivating tendency, right? Like, you can't be that person that needs somebody to hold you accountable all the time because there's nobody to hold you accountable. So you kind of just have to have that skill set naturally. And then the second part for me is just I've experienced some, tragedies or tragic events in the last, few years. And so having kind of that second opportunity just is a reminder to me that I really, truly am, like, meant for more. And so my goal and my purpose to, do everything that I set out to do and achieve the goals that I set out to achieve, and then all while being able to be successful and enjoy time with my family and travel and things of that nature. Like, that's kind of what keeps, me pushing forward.
So what's the best advice you've ever gotten?
This one is something that's stood out to me. So I had a business mentor that I worked with for about 15 plus years in the tax and business consulting industry. And so very early on, he had, rather than him just saying like, hey, this is the rule, this is the tax law, this is how you do it, right? He was very good about saying, okay, this is where you find that information, right? And so rather than him just saying, okay, this is how you do it, he's showing me like how to research it, how to find it, how to interpret that tax law. And so I am a believer of like being able to transfer or carry over skill sets. And so that skill set taught me to constantly educate myself. So no matter what it is, I'm constantly researching everything. My kids, they kind of laugh at me when they ask me a question, or even family. I'm like, Google it, because you can find the answer anywhere. And so, like I said, that really just taught me to not rely on somebody else for the knowledge or the information, but to actually go out and seek it myself. And at the same time, like, I'm not somebody that's going to say, or I don't have to worry about saying like, oh, well, so-and-so told me this. Okay, well, did you verify that what so-and-so told you was accurate? I'm actually getting the information firsthand for myself. And so that's kind of what I carry forward, not only in my personal life, but like I said, as well as my business life, and then even on with my students and my clients that I'm coaching. I'm teaching them, right, how to find the information for themselves. That way they're never just saying, well, Shara said.
Absolutely. So of all of the things that you've done in a professional sense, what are you the proudest of?
I am probably the proudest of achieving, once I released my courses in my online academy, I was able to achieve $1 million in 6 months, and that was very exciting. I was very, very excited to, celebrate that, and so I continued to push on, growing and achieving more. So
what's been one of the best success stories you've been a part of?
Best success stories. A lot of my students, as well as my coaching clients, they are able to, take the courses, work with me, and see such a drastic change in their income and their lifestyle. And that is what kind of feeds my soul, is knowing that I'm able to continue to help change lives, whether they went from having 1 or 2 clients, a week, or maybe even 3 clients a week, to turn around and have, $1,500 or even, $2,000 and $3,000 profit in 1 week. And that does feel good, because, like I said, I know the money is out there. There's just, doing it strategically and having the business and finance background, making sure that my clients and my students actually have the foundation for them to succeed.
So let's say you have a dream tonight. You run into a much younger version, a 20-year-old version of yourself, and you could give that young version of you a piece of advice based on the wisdom you've gained in your life up to this point. What advice would you give your younger self?
Probably listen to my elders and my mentors. I think that one of the things I even experienced as an adult and as a parent is trying to guide my children, or even my students and my clients through, navigating them through, different scenarios that they come across based on my experience, based on what I know or the mistakes I've made, right? And so the younger version probably does very much like my children do, my adult children, where they want to, bump their heads on their own before they figure it out and go, oh, maybe mom was right. And so as a younger version, I would say, listen to somebody who's wiser than me, listen to somebody who knows more, listen to that advice because they really do mean well and they've probably experienced what I haven't, and can guide me without having to bump my head, like I did.
So everyone out there has a perception of you, Shara, family, friends, clients, colleagues, students, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Oh, I honestly, when you say my personal perception of me, like in terms of business, my personality, like what are you referring to?
Like the whole Venn diagram, everything that makes up who you are, which is probably a mixture of both personal and professional. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I'm definitely hardworking. That is something that, everyone has always said, like, I'm very resourceful, and I think that kind of ties back to, me learning how to be resourceful, where people always know that they can come to me. I do feel good when I'm able to help guide people in all facets of their life. But I have a huge personality and a very, very big heart. I am genuine, down to earth, easy to approach, and realistic. But I'm also analytical. And I love facts and numbers.
Right on. So if anyone out there wants to learn more about you, hire you, anything about your world, where's the best place to go?
They can reach me on Instagram, Facebook, as well as the internet. Lux, Luxe, beautyandbodyco.com.
Excellent. Shara, this has been wonderful. Thank you for your story. Thank you for your time. Best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks for tuning in to another famous interview with Joe Dimino, where we cover the world of art, literature, business, spirituality, music, and more from around the globe. Our esteemed theme music was composed and produced by the great E.E. Pointer of Kansas City's River Cow Orchestra. If you want to hear more interviews, visit the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino channel on YouTube. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thanks again for listening, and until next time.